ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video. Modern Warfare 2 2022 is getting released this week on beta, and I'll have access to it as of the 22nd. But whilst there's a bit of a waiting period for it, we'll talk about some of the new content that has been announced from the COD Next event. One of the smallest items that hasn't been talked about so far has been the third person mode that they're adding into the game. Now, I can't remember, but allegedly there was a third person mode in the original Modern Warfare 2, but I couldn't really remember that as it was a fair time ago now. But yeah, apparently there was a third person mode in the original Modern Warfare 2, and if that is the case, correct me in the comments. But third person mode has been something that hasn't been in a Call of Duty game for a very long time. Call of Duty is a first person shooter, and it's never had a third person mode in it for an exceptional amount of games now, so that's going to be an interesting mechanic to see, whether that's in Warzone, multiplayer, single player. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be a feature that we can roll out as and when we want to, or whether it's going to be locked behind certain game modes. But it does look like it's making its sweet return to the COD series, and I want to know your thoughts about that. With Battlefield, Apex and Call of Duty all being first person shooters, and then miraculously getting a third person mode is kind of odd. But it's a change that I'm not too fussed about. The fact that there's microtransactions in the game where people can pay for skins and things like that, it's maybe worth their money more to have a third person mode. And it might be a selling strategic thing from the guys over at the marketplace, so I'm not sure. But it does look like it is a cool feature, and it does look like it will be an interesting way to involve that with your combat in the game. Whether you're going to use it to look around corners or things like that, I'm not too sure. Games like The Division and Ghost Recon Wildlands has a third person mode that I'm sure people know to use more tactically. But again, it's just really weird to see a third person camera angle in a Call of Duty game. Didn't think I'd see one of those returning for Modern Warfare 2. But a lot of people are excited for this game. It's going to be the biggest Call of Duty drop because it'll be the first Call of Duty that'll be out for 2 consecutive years. Normally, Call of Duty operates on an annually cycle where the games change in and out every single year, going from Treyarch, Activision, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, etc. But now we're going to have a Call of Duty game that's going to last for 2 years minimum, and it could go even longer than that. So I'm going to be there for the long haul, covering content, how-tos, tutorials, campaign, multiplayers, things like that. And like we say, as we're waiting for the October 28th release of the game, we're going to be doing videos behind the scenes of what's happening as the game's developing, getting closer to its launch for the public, and covering some behind the scenes footage that you guys might not have seen or heard of or even missed out on. The COD event was quite good. It was a few hours long. Hundreds, if not thousands, of content creators were involved in that, and some massive streamers were covering the new Warzone game mode, which is Warzone 2.0, which is a separate video we'll discuss later. But basically this was one of the talking points that not a lot of channels were covering, the third person mode coming back to Call of Duty or being implemented for the first time for a lot of us. So some people in the Call of Duty fandom would not have played the original Modern Warfare, and because of that, they've never seen a COD game with a third person mode in it. I mean, I played Modern Warfare 2 and I couldn't remember it was even there. So a lot of us are going to have to come to terms with this new camera angle and see if we can manipulate it for good clips or for strategy advantages. It's really odd to see a first person game go third person, but I don't think it's a permanent thing. I don't think it's like you're trapped in third person. Lots of these clips take from the first person point of view. So I don't think it's going to be a permanent feature in the game, but I think it's definitely going to be maybe locked behind a game mode or maybe a control bind. I don't know how they're going to implement it, but I know it's there. And it's, again, it's just a weird clip. It's a clip that's odd because it looks like going from that first person mode down the gun to then third person when the guy reloads and turns to his friend. It's very weird. It looks not like a COD game at that point of view. It kind of looks like a mod on PC or something. So the fact that that's back in the game is mental. Let me know if you guys remember, if you played the original Modern Warfare 2, let me know if you remember a third person mode, because I don't remember one at all. So maybe I just didn't see it or didn't use it, but I really am going to be fascinated with how they implement that into the game and how they've had to animate that for every skin, every custom skin that they're going to have available. So yeah, I would like to see it used in campaign. I don't even know if we're going to be allowed to use it in campaign, but it'd be nice to see it, because there'll be moments in the cinematics where you want to be in third person, and you're having these big cinematic battles in the single player, progressing through the storyline, and you want to be using that third person camera to take more of the atmosphere in. But I really don't understand why they've added it in. I don't think it's going to be heavily used, but I think in any sort of addition to the game, people are going to find ways to exploit it to get easier clips and to get easier kills. So we're going to have to wait and see. I don't think it'll be used in league play though. Like for competitive gaming, I don't think it'll be there. I'd be really weirded out if it was. I think this is a larger conquest map and a larger game mode, so I think maybe that's why we're allowed to use the third person. I'm really not sure. And it was never really discussed. I've been looking around online and there's not been a lot of content creators covering it. There's been a lot of people talking about the new Warzone 2.0, the multiplayer, the raids, the DMZ mode, which is again something we'll talk about. But this is just really odd to me. To see a game feature that's not been in a Call of Duty game for at least a few games now, to make its debut in this game or make its return in this game, depending how you remember it, it's kind of odd. And it just baffles me. It's a clip that genuinely causes me confusion. Because it's like, I don't get it. I don't get why Call of Duty's never had that feature in it, or whether it's not used its feature for a long time, but now it's back, and it's here, and it's weird. And I want to know how consistently we use the feature. I want to know how it's been implemented, why it's been implemented, what's the purpose of it. Is it just like a different point of view? Or is it because they're going to try and get tactical advantage using it? Is it because we're trying to get more of the scoping of the battle? I don't really get that. But it will be interesting to see how content creators use it. I definitely think the creative side of content creators probably would make some cool machinimas, some cool animations from it, some like Mr. Moon style YouTube videos where it's like more storytelling based because you can kind of see the character and see the soldier. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a new thing that's going to open up some cool creativity amongst the Call of Duty community. And if it's there, then I'm sure people will use it. But I don't know or understand its purpose. So if you've got a bit of background, if you've got a bit of an understanding, and you'd like to pitch me your idea why you think it's in the game, feel free to do it in the comments. Discuss amongst yourselves and try and educate me on why a third-person mode is in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022. I don't disagree with it. I don't think I dislike it. I just think it's odd and it confuses me. So we're going to wait and see whether that mode or feature or camera angle, whatever you want to call it, we're going to see how successfully it's implemented. And if it's cheesed to oblivion because everyone's abusing it, or because everyone's manipulating it, or whether people exploit it, or whether people do good with it, whether people do creativity with it and create cool videos and movie style videos and edits. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe COD edit montages will come back in full force with this new adaptation of the third person mode. I'm not sure, but it's a very fun feature, I'm sure, if it's used right. But then again, this is the Call of Duty community, and for every good player, there's a billion bad players who are going to manipulate this. So we're going to wait and see how frequently we can use it, where we can use it, and why and how we can use it. But again, something that's not been discussed, and that's what this channel's all about. I find the little gems that have fallen through the nets of the community. Everyone's talking about Warzone, we'll cover that. Everybody's talking about the raids, and we'll cover that too. But no one is talking about this third person mode, and it's driving me insane. I really don't know anything about it, and I'm super interested to use it for myself and see if I like it or see if I hate it. And I'm interested to see if you guys are going to like it or hate it. Because like we say, we don't like change. Most of us like it simple. Boots on the ground with a few little added bonuses. And don't get me wrong, we're going to break Modern Warfare down in a bit more in detail later on. But so far so good. It's looking nice. And I'm liking the idea of it and the grittiness of it and the sort of balance of fun and experimental gameplay with strategical boots on ground grittiness. No jetpacks, no wall running, dolphin diving is back. That's going to be very fun, and the slide cancellers are going to hate that. But this third person mode is a weird one for me, and I really think it's weird for a lot of other people who don't grasp why it's in the game either. So, like I say, subscribe, ding dong the notification bell, head down to the comments, and find me anything you can about this, because I'm baffled, and I want someone to help me understand why a third person camera angle is going to be in Call of Duty. And I want to know where we can use it, I want to know what game modes we can use it in, and I want to know if it's possible in single player, and Warzone, but that is discussion for the comment section. You guys help me out here so I'm not going insane until the release. Thank you very much for watching. I have been your boy Tom Origins, and if you have enjoyed this video, then do leave a like and subscribe, ding dong that notification bell, and help out the channel even more by dropping us a cheeky little subscribe at the bottom. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now, and